heading deep inside of the Libyan desert, further than most outsiders go, past the capital, through areas scarred by a decade of war and conflicts, all the way into the Sahara Desert. As we drive, we want to understand what having the world's cheapest gas actually does to a country, and how Libya is even able to offer it. During this road trip, we also plan to take a deeper look at what life looks like when you leave everything familiar behind. But first, if you missed our last episode, we landed in Tripoli and got to see how life in the capital city exists today. And I was accompanied by Libya's #1 tour guide Hatem and my tourist police Amar. And throughout the rest of our first day, we learned about some of the complicated sides of Libya, like exchanging your money on the black market, as well as what daily life is like in some of the modern areas and the old city, and found something most wouldn't expect based on how the media portrays Libya, just how welcoming the people here actually are. But that leaves me with the question, will I experience the same hospitality, or does everything begin to change the further we go?
Day number 2. صباح الخير يا زعيم. شنو جو؟
مية مية الحمد لله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله. نحن مليح. Today we're getting started. We're going to be driving 700 kilometers. If you actually look further down on the map, you'll see that Libya borders Tunisia, and then further down when Tunisia stops, then you reach the Algerian border. So we're going to be heading all the way down there. 8 hours of driving, 12 hours from here all the way until when we arrive tonight with a couple stops. We're going to be experiencing Libya like you've never seen before. Yalla?
But first, before we fueled up the car with the world's cheapest gas, we needed to fuel up the humans first. And in Libya, that means one thing: coffee that is probably strong enough to power the car itself.
صباح الخير. شنو جو؟
How are you?
أنا منين؟ أنت كيف؟
Photographer.
إيه وأنت؟ شنو جو؟
باي والله الحمد لله.
مليح.
صباح الخير. Where are you from?
أمريكي.
American.
وأنت من طرابلس؟
Yeah, من طرابلس من تريبولي.
تمام. القهوة هون حلبة ملزليز؟
مش الملزلز يعني لذيذ.
شنو جو يا زعيم؟ This is the best local coffee shop around here.
For me, it's the best.
It's the best on Fridays.
You do mistake.
Why?
It's not just only the best every Friday. It's all the week.
هيدا جملة يا حرب صغيرة هلا.
You know, I don't let it go easily. Would you like a single or a double?
We'll start with a single today. Yeah.
Single?
What do you think? You're going to double?
No, I'm going to single.
Yeah.
I'm single.
Single? What do we think? Cookies to go too? Chocolate chip? أطيب بالكل الطرابلس cookies من هون?
Yeah.
تمام.
If you want to have something from originally traditional Tripoli, that's the baklawa here. It's too much sugar, but it's made of almonds.
لو سمعت ثلاثة وثلاثة.
3 and 3.
باهية يا زعيم.
The
Well, no,
لا إيه. ليش
Me?
لا؟ ليش لا؟
I don't eat so much sugar because I'm gonna collapse. قهوة يا زعيم.
أوه. منور.
بوجودك. No sugar. You don't add sugar.
لا. قد بتريد يا غالي؟
3 and 0.
30. منور. شرفنا فيكم. بنشوفكم بعد إذا على الأغراض.
Every day we are here. Come drink coffee, enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Dahra is the best place in Libya. You know?
All right, we'll be back
Trust
many
me.
times
I
then.
agree, yeah.
Yeah, we got to drive far today, so ciao. Nice to meet you.
Today was going to be a massive driving day, heading all the way down to Ghadames. But the first road trip, whenever I'm in a new country, always seems to be the place where I find myself the most surprised, especially with what I was about to find out when we were stopping for gas.
This is one of the things, like when I was in Iran, I wanted to show you guys in Libya, because these oil-rich countries are able to do it for so cheap. We've got a tip for you. La ilak. Shukran, yatik saha. So how much was the cost of fuel right there?
I paid 7 dinar.
And is that half a tank, full tank?
3/4.
3/4 of a tank.
Yes.
For less than $1. And how is that possible?
It's subsidized.
Oh, subsidized.
Yes,
But
by the government.
Let's pause right here though to dive a little deeper into why is the gas subsidized? Well, to understand why it costs almost nothing, you have to rewind back to Muammar Gaddafi. For over 4 decades, Gaddafi ruled Libya with an iron grip. But when it comes to oil, Libya sits on some of the largest oil reserves in all of Africa. And that oil money had to go somewhere. And one of the ways Gaddafi kept the population loyal was simple. He made gas almost free. It became something like a social contract. The government subsidizes fuel so heavy that the price you see at the pump barely covers the cost of getting it there. 2 cents a liter, or 7 cents a gallon. Numbers that seem, well, impossible anywhere else in the world. But here's where it gets complicated. Gaddafi is long gone. The country went through a revolution, a civil war, and years of instability. Governments came and went, but the gas prices, nobody dared to touch them. Because by that point, cheap fuel wasn't just a policy, it became a way of life. It was something every Libyan had grown up expecting, and any government that tried to raise those prices would face immediate backlash from a population that had known nothing else. So the subsidy survived everything: the revolution, the war, the chaos, and it created something nobody fully anticipated: a black market. Something we will experience in person a little bit later in this video.
You know the actual price worldwide, and you can imagine how much it's like.
Like a
I don't know,
99% subsidy or something.
900%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I heard that's actually cheaper than a bottle of water then. A liter of water is cheaper?
Half liter,
Okay.
half dinar.
Wow.
So yeah, cheap.
That's insane. Unbelievable.
With a full tank costing less than $1, we headed south. Ghadames was roughly 8 hours away, and between here and there exists a Libya most people will never see.
It's crazy because when you're in the proper Tripoli area, the area that we showed you on day number 1, you can't really see any sort of signs of conflict or any sort of reminiscence from things that have happened over the last 2 decades. Then you go on the airport road and you can see some occasional buildings that have bullet holes that were from 5 years ago and the previous decade before that. It's pretty crazy to actually see that in person.
These areas we are driving through saw some of the most intense fighting during Libya's civil war.
For the last 5 years, it's more stable, less conflicts, and people are happy with this because we had like 6 years from 2014, 2020. It was every year have a different conflict, many casualties among civilians. We are happy that the people are peaceful, normally peaceful in Libya, and this is something new to us. So we are happy that things become less tense, if we can say that.
You got a lot of tourists that come out. What are they usually most afraid of?
Well, when they arrive here, they have lots of assumptions about the situation. That makes them scared. But when they are here, they have a different idea. Once they step in Libya, they see the people, reaction of people, the streets, the vibes around. They will figure out that Libya is a safe place.
Despite over a decade of battles and conflicts all around me as we drove south, I surprisingly did not feel as worried as one might imagine when everything around you is covered in bullet holes. I don't know if that is just because I have visited other places like this, or that in general you can feel that things are moving in a safer direction. And we were about to see a place that I had never experienced in 74 other countries that I visited.
Alright, so we have just made it over to Qasr al-Hajj, which means the Palace of the Pilgrimage. شنيجا السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام. صباح النور.
شنيجا صباح النور.
صباح الخير.
كيفك؟
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله.
شنو امورك؟
كويس كويس. شكرا منور يعطيكم صحة.
وجودك.
شكرا. Welcome to Qasr al-Hajj, the Palace of the Pilgrimage. 114 of these rooms, just such an exotic place. This is a staple of Libyan history. The reason being is this was used as a stop on the pilgrimage on people's way to Mecca. They would drop off their food on the way, have a resting stop, and then the people who managed this place would take a percentage of barley. Then on their way back from the pilgrimage, they would have food stored here. Now the crazy part about this place is up until the 60s, before the government started providing housing, people were still picking up barley here.
The locals, the last one who come and claim his grains was 1996, and it was kept for 30 years, and it was fresh. It was good for eating or even for planting. That's why they use it. This kind of architecture is it's not Arab. It's an Arabic village, but this design is a Berber style.
This Berber architecture, been around for like 700 years, is still nearly perfectly intact. Holy moly. Look at this. It is windy right now, so my friends, don't try this at home. So there are 114 rooms, and that number is not random. It actually represents 114
Surah in Quran.
And while we're walking around, if you want to pull out your phone, go to Instagram and type in @WorldNomac. You can follow me there, and I'll be sharing tons of daily stories as well as reels that go even more in depth in all of these places we're visiting in the vlogs.
منور منور يا زعيم منور.
Look.
بنشوف.
No, no, no.
لا لا.
No money, no money.
No money?
خذ خذ بين ساير
All
واحد يا
right.
رجل.
Well, we got another one for you then. بشوفك ان شاء الله ان شاء
ساعة
الله.
طيبة إن شاء الله. نشوفك ساعة طيبة.
We still had hours ahead of us, and somewhere along the way, we were going to need more fuel. Now, as we're getting closer to the Tunisian border, something starts to become really obvious. Almost every gas station out here is shut down. And when you understand why, it actually makes complete sense. When fuel is only 2 cents a liter or 7 cents a gallon, the profit margin for a gas station owner is basically nothing. So many of them made a different calculation. Why sell cheap gas to Libyans driving south when you can smuggle it across the border into Tunisia and sell it for 5 to 10 times the price? When the government finds out, they shut the station down, and that's exactly what happened to most of the stations along this stretch of road, which left us with a problem. We needed fuel to make it the rest of the way to Ghadames, and out here, there was only one option left. And for this next part, Hatem wanted to keep looking for other places to find gas, but I wanted to understand some of the realities. That's why we stopped here, where these young kids are selling gasoline.
شنيجاو قد البنزين
1 dinar.
1 dinar. So that means right now we're getting 1 dinar per liter, which is about what, 6 times rate. So to fill up a tank here is going to cost us about $6.
I'm taking only half a tank, so
Half a tank, or
$3.
$3. شنيجاو شنيجاو انتبه لكم في سيارات كتير. هلبة سيارات هون.
مليحة ليبيا.
حلبة مليح ليبيا. حلبة مليح.
شو طرابلس؟ طرابلس اسم الله.
نعم.
من وين انت؟
من شيكاغو.
شيكاغو.
أمريكي من شيكاغو. تعرف المدينة اسمها شيكاغو؟ بعيد من هون.
طيب.
We're going?
Yeah.
Alright. يعطيكم صحة. إن شاء الله إن شاء الله بنشوفكم.
ان شاء الله.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله. مع السلامة. منور يا زعيم.
منورين.
شكرا.
راحتكم.
شرفنا فيكم.
شرفنا فيك حتى
He said, I wish you bon voyage.
شكرا. هلبا شكرا.
ميناس.
Alright.
I want to be clear. Nobody should be comfortable with kids working like this, but this is the reality that ultra-cheap fuel near a border creates. A chain reaction that starts with a government subsidy, runs through decades of conflict, and ends with children filling up tanks on the side of the road in the Sahara. Libya is full of these contradictions, and the further south you go, the more of them you find. I Our last stop before Ghadames is Nalut, a city that has survived battles for centuries, sitting elevated above everything around it, with one of the most extraordinary viewpoints I've seen anywhere in this part of the world.
All right, we just made it over to Qasr Nalut, inside of this really unique village. We just drove probably about an hour, and right up here we are pretty high up. So it's a city that was extremely tough throughout its history to conquer. Every single war, every single conflict that they were involved in, there was always a struggle to take this place, just because it is hard to climb a mountain and take a village that the villagers know best. And you can see there's tons of ruins and remains here of what this place was once like. We'll zoom in right there.
And this castle is no longer occupied, obviously, but at least gives you a glimpse into what life was once like here in Nalut.
And it has 400 rooms, and this one at least 300 years older than this one. Down there is a water spring. That's most of the farms is down there, where you can see the palm trees and so on. And you have the whole village. So the highlights here, the mosque, 2 mosques we have, the olive oil presser and the fort.
Hard to believe a place like this can withstand 1,000 years of wind and erosion. I mean, just being up here right now, the wind is pretty strong. So you can see why this is such an important place for the people of this region. I mean, look at this view you have. Think about way back in the day when it was all about having high ground. I mean, look at how far you can see the villages out there. You can see the plateaus of those mountains. If someone's coming to invade you, there's not too many ways you can get in besides through some of the most common areas. And think about how easy it is to stop an enemy from coming up these extremely steep hills. There's not too many other options to get up. And that just goes to show you the strength of a location like this, and no doubt the beauty. Assalamu alaikum ya Fendi. شنو جو؟
صلى عليه كلم
صح اكيد عليش لا.
welcome.
شكرا. منور يا زعيم.
منورين بوجودك يا غالي.
قالت منور يا زعيم. برا دير لها قهوه هذه.
احلى كسر بكل المنطقه. مظبوط. ايوه.
ها؟
شكرا.
شنو هذه؟ قريب هاني هذا.
Oh guys, and we have made it. Look at this place. It is in perfect condition.
The last time they had maintenance was only 2 years ago. That's why it looks brand new, because the fact is that it's always need to be maintained because of the materials that is made from. So as you can see, it looks brand new, but it's 1,000 years old.
The crazy part about being in Libya, my friends, is because it's still so new to tourism, you can be at a place like this that history nerds like me and people into just really fascinating places aren't flocking to. If this was in Egypt, guys, there would be literally probably thousands of people in here. They would have to regulate this place, but with just me here, I have it all to myself.
There was one last chance to get this beautiful view, and then it was time to hurry and head to Ghadames, because these roads aren't like normal roads.
شكرا منشوفك إذا على راد.
والله أقول لك عرفة ندير لك الليلة شاهي بالقرفة ومرات ليلة حارفة.
مع السلامة.
سلام أمريكا.
The road down from Nalut towards Ghadames is beautiful. It feels something almost like the movie Dune, yet in real life. But it's also surprisingly dangerous. I had heard a little bit as to why, and it said something much deeper about Libya than just a road. Whoever was contracted to build this stretch decided to make it narrower than it should have been. Whether to cut costs, pocket the difference, or both, nobody was held accountable. And now every driver on this road lives with that decision every single day.
All right, so this is pretty crazy here, guys. We are on the road that's gonna bring us much further south, and the lanes are tiny. So you can see this truck coming up on us, and this truck is the size of like 1.5 of these lanes. I mean, you can see pretty much, yeah, he was driving over the yellow line just to let us through.
The road south continued for what felt like hours, mile after mile of vast desert landscape. Ghadames was close, and I had no idea what was waiting for us. Today was a lot to absorb. We left Tripoli with a full tank of gas that cost less than a bottle of water. We drove through cities that you could still see the wounds of war that ended not so long ago. We stood alone at ancient castles that the rest of the world has simply never discovered. And we bought fuel from kids on the side of the road because the economics of this country left them no other option. I didn't come to Libya to judge any of it. I came to understand it. And today, somewhere between that gas station in Tripoli and that narrow road down to Ghadames, I was starting to understand it. Tomorrow, we will wake up in a place known as Ghadames, and what we will experience will be one of the biggest highlights of our entire time in Libya.